Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
Magandang gabi mga kababayan and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side. Dito po sa PHLV Radio, Kuya Yo, galing po sa Las Vegas, Nevada. Medyo patapos na ang sobrang init sa Vegas. At masaya kami at kasama na naman natin ngayon dito sa PHLV Radio Studio si Atty. Flomy Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group. Attorney, you're always welcome to visit us here and we're always happy that when you're here sa Las Vegas. Kumusta po kayo?
Magandang gabi, Kuya Johan. It's always great to be back here at as much as possible, mas maganda sana in person tayo pero okay na rin ang Zoom. But good thing is I'm here and maganda nga ang inyong weather ngayon at tamang-tama ang dating natin. So mainit din nating pag-usapan ngayon dahil it's about voluntary departure na maraming hinaharap ng ating mga kababayan.
Nako, dito po sa PHLV Radio Studio, kayo po ay welcome to stay here hanggat sa gusto nyo. Kaya hindi nyo kailangan ng voluntary departure dito sa PHLV Radio. Mga kaibigan, yan po pag-uusapan natin yun sa kamukha nga ng sabi ni Atty. Diza, because if you've been ordered removed from the United States, you can instead try, if you qualify, to voluntarily depart rather than being removed from the United States. Non-citizens of the United States can apply for voluntary departure under the Immigration and Nationality Act. They need permission from an immigration judge for voluntary departure and will need to leave the country at their own expense. I-explain sa atin ni Atty. Diza ngayong gabi ito ang ating voluntary departure. Attorney, paano ito nangyayari at bakit kailangan ito, Attorney?
Yes, ang voluntary departure ay otherwise known as voluntary return or voluntary deportation din, Kuya Johan, di ba? So it's one of the form of relief na pwedeng i-avail ng ating mga kababayan kung sila po ay ayaw na dito sa US at wala silang available remedies para ma-legalize ang kanilang status. Para po magawa yan, either i-request po nila yan sa Department of Homeland Security, yung DHS, or sa immigration, or sa immigration judge during the removal proceeding. So, dalawang pwedeng situation dyan where they can request for a voluntary departure. So, depende po yan kung saan kayo nagre-request ng permiso. As we mentioned, either with Department of Homeland Security or either with the immigration judge.
Attorney, ilan sa mga tagapakinig natin at mga viewers natin, naguluhan sila. Sabi nila, it's a form of relief, pero uuwi ka pa rin. Pero, does this follow the same logic as, say, for example, you're working for a company, all of a sudden, you already know that you're gonna get fired, nag-resign ka na lang. Does that follow that it's much better that you voluntarily remove yourself or depart rather than paalisin ka ni Uncle Sam?
Yes, it's a lot better. So it's really very important sa mga kababayan natin na tignan ang kanilang sitwasyon, di ba? So kung sila po ay nasa status, halimbawa ng mga Kuya Johan na nasa H1B status sila at they were terminated or fired, or J1 for example, at ang inyong sponsor ayon nang i-renew ang inyong status as a J1, right? So either of you becoming overstay, you either like voluntary return, but at that point hindi pa naman kayo ibig sabihin nasa status pa naman kayo, so wala kayong violation yan, di ba? Huwag niyong hintayin na by the time na kayo nawala ng status, and there were many situations in the past, Kuya Johan, especially during the past administration, where being an overstay is already a violation and it's called an enforcement priority where immigration or the custom enforcement will go after them, di ba? So in that scenario, instead of arrestan kayo ng DHS, right, at kayo po ay sabihin mo wala na akong H1B status, right, at ka-file lang sa akin last month. So kung pinuntahan kayo ng immigration, instead of them placing you in removal proceedings, right, kayo sasabihin na ninyo, I'm asking for a voluntary departure at my own expense, and the Homeland Security will require you to provide, Kuya Johan, at least within 60 days, 220 days to seek to buy your tickets and show it to them before you return.
Nako, okay. So meron palang something like this, kumbaga gagawin mo na lang ng remedyo, parang okay, you're in a removal proceedings, pero okay, I think it will make a better impression kay Uncle Sam if you offer to voluntarily go home na lang. Oo, parang gano'n. So attorney, when can you request the voluntary the departure? Kung meron ka ng removal proceedings, is it going to be before any court proceedings?
It could be either before, during, or even after, Kuya Johan, the removal proceedings. So in a situation where nabanggit natin kanina, overstay ka na ng, let's say, wala pang 6 months, no? Wala pang 6 months and unfortunately napuntahan ka ng immigration or let's say na-deny yung inyong let's say extension of status or H1 change of status to H1B at kayo po'y pinuntahan ng immigration and say, hey, we will deport you and place you in removal proceedings. So instead of appearing before the court, you can already request for voluntary departure. Mga kababayan, i-distinguish po natin kung ano yung kaya binabanggit natin kanina sa inyo na ang tignan ninyo ang status ninyo kasi kung katatapos lang ng status ninyo, pwede po yung voluntary departure para hindi po kayo magkaroon ng tawag nito ng record sa immigration, no? Kasi Kuya Johan, kung sila po overstay for over 1 year na, di ba? Let's say H1B sila, sabi mo na fire sila last week and then nag-stay pa sila ng more than a year, nag-overstay na sila obviously for over a year and then may nagsumbong sa kanila na itong si ganito ay nagtatrabaho ng walang work permit or walang permission to work, right? At pinuntahan sila ng immigration or a situation where halimbawa nagkaroon ng DUI, di ba? Sa mga states na tinitignan yung kanilang immigration records or nire-refer sa immigration court tapos tinignan ang kanilang immigration records tapos nilalagay sila sa immigration court. In that situation, mga kababayan, even if you voluntarily request for a voluntary departure, right, meron pa rin kayong ban for 10 years. So, it's not only, even if you want to seek voluntary departure, right, that the reality is hindi yung tipong makakabalik pa rin kayo because of your other immigration violations. So, yung immigration violations or other immigration violations na binabanggit natin would be either overstay, right, or let's say meron kayong criminal records or meron kayong misrepresentation. So those will become the issue. So it's a different situation. For example, sinabi natin kanina na nag-overstay lang kayo ng wala pang 6 months or nag-file kayo ng extension, right, at na-deny yung extension nyo at wala pa kayong 6 months from that denial, right? Even if you file, for example, of any kind of relief na nasa status kayo, then you file something else like adjustment of status, nag-asawa kayo ng US citizen or nag-file kayo ng asylum, umabot ng 3 hanggang 5 taon yon, right? So okay pa yun. Kumbaga in a way, nasa status kayo as long as you file those applications before mag-expire ang status ninyo, right? And then 4 na taon kayo nandito and then mayroon ng denial and then you did not depart right away pero wala pang 6 months, yun ang perfect time to seek voluntary departure kasi wala pa kayong ban, di ba? Wala pa kayo and then you seek voluntary departure and there's a probability that you can come back anytime you want kung meron kayong other form of visa. Let's say may possibility ng H1B, may possibility ng J1 or kung meron kayong fiancé or spouse of a US citizen. So when they petition for you, that's not an issue.
What about attorney kung nagsimula na yung court proceedings? Pwede bang mag-file ka pa rin?
Yes, the same scenario. Let's say they'll place you in removal proceedings and you think na mayroon kang pending application at wala pang 6 months when they place you in removal proceedings, you can always seek voluntary departure at walang issue yon. Pero as we mentioned kanina, kung matagal na yung overstay, you can always request that, but take note na hindi mababago ang inyong status or ang inyong probability of coming back in the US. The same thing, mga kababayan, while you are fighting your case. Kasi, right, tatanungin ng judge sa inyo, what is your form of relief, di ba? During the initial master hearing, syempre you have to plea to the accusations or to the charges, and then you have to state your form of relief, like I'm adjusting status based on marriage to a US citizen, I'm seeking asylum, I'm seeking cancellation of removal, or any of those form of reliefs in removal or deportation proceedings. And one of them, let's say I'm seeking an asylum, I'm seeking an adjustment of status and voluntary departure. So lahat yan pwede nilang sabihin yan. So even if the court takes like 3 to 5 years, right, at nagkaroon ng hearing at na-deny, then you can also request for the voluntary departure, and if you are eligible, then the judge will grant you a voluntary departure at the conclusion of your removal proceedings.
Ayun, so pwede palang mag-apply nito ang mga kababayan even before or during the court proceedings and even after the court proceedings. proceedings. Attorney, nabanggit nyo kanina yung some form of ineligibility for you to not qualify to apply for voluntary departure. Ano po ba ang magdi-disqualify sa ating mga kababayan para mag-apply nito? Ilang crime offenses ba, attorney, ang magdi-disqualify sa kanila?
Yes, maraming mga grounds for disqualification, especially mga crimes, what we call aggravated felony. Aggravated felony is defined as an imprisonment of more than 1 year, right? Or any of those felonies as defined by INA or Immigration and Nationality Act, kagaya po ng sexual offenses, right? You must have not committed rape or sexual abuse of minors, yung mga yun. Murder, of course, right? Firearms offenses, felony alien smuggling, and money offenses, right? And of course, yung mga money offenses involves where the victim loss of more than 10,000, right? Money laundering or there's the intent of deceit. So yung mga yun, hindi pwede po kayo mag-avail ng voluntary departure, and they can deny you, right, of such form of relief. So yun yung mga disqualifications po ng grounds for disqualification for a voluntary departure.
Obviously, this is a complex issue, especially if you're in that boat already na meron kang removal proceedings. Medyo magulo na yung isip mo. Kailangan ba silang attorney kumonsulta sa mga immigration experts katulad nyo?
Yes, unang-una mga kababayan, bago nyo i-surrender ang rights nyo to to a hearing, for example, like puntahan kayo ng Department of Homeland Security at kayo inaresto for overstaying or for committing fraud or even crimes, there's always that recommendation na from the government attorney or the ICE attorney or people arresting you, right, where voluntary departure will send you back to your home country, will take care of your expenses, etc. Especially kung major ang offense po ninyo, di ba? Lalong-lalo ng past administrations where they're really aggressive in arresting mga criminal foreigners who have criminal convictions, right? So you have to tell them that you have to seek the advice of an immigration attorney, right? So that you can fight your case. Kasi fighting your case doesn't mean na lalong-lalo sa tingin mo wala kang available relief, right? Especially kung crimes yan. It's really hard for us like immigration attorneys to explain to them na even if they have lived here in the US for 30, 40 years, Kuya Johan, I've seen people here, 1980s nandito sila as green card holder when they were minors, and because of mistakes they committed, lalong-lalo ang crimes of drugs, right? Especially selling drugs. Ang pinapatawad lang actually ng immigration is yung use of marijuana less than 30 grams. So if you use a kind of other substance prohibited drugs kagaya ng methamphetamine, wala ka ng relief. So it's really hard for you to go back in time, lalo na kung ang kausap mo ay yung DA na gustong expedite yung kaso, di ba? Yeah. Para mawala na sa calendar. Sabi mo, ang ano mo lang dito is community service, or you don't go to jail, yung serve sentence mo yun na lang, right? But the immigration consequence, mga kababayan, mabigat po yan. So you really have to talk to an attorney before you discuss, right, yung kanilang options to voluntary depart, because once you're back home, it's hard for you to come back, right? Unlike if you're here fighting your case, right, the lawyer might strategize your case, buy you more time, right? As we mentioned kanina, kung nasa immigration proceedings kayo, might take about 3 to 5 years, right? 3 to 5 years, and then by that time laws might change, right? Or there's what we call, may mga serious criminal convictions where we ask for a post-conviction relief. Ibig sabihin, you go back to your criminal defense lawyer, discuss your case, and if there's a possibility to request for a post-conviction relief, para instead of you admitting to the crimes of selling methamphetamine, pwede bang na lang yan, use of marijuana para meron kang relief sa immigration court. So it's really important, mga kababayan, to seek the advice of a lawyer before you decide to admit or request for a voluntary departure.
Yung mga kababayan natin, iniisip nila, suma total, uuwi ka na rin. They might think na, maybe we shouldn't apply for this anymore. Let's just be removed from the United States. What is the advantage, attorney? What should they consider applying for voluntary departure?
That's really a good question. The one advantages of seeking voluntary departure is kumbaga wala kang order of removal, right? Just because if you fight your case and you don't have any form of relief, and the judge ordered you remove, there is and then siyempre kung uwi ka rin lang din naman, di ba, at nagkaroon ka na ng order of removal, you are banned for 10 years, right? Those are the immigration consequences of having an order of removal. Now, if you seek for voluntary departure, at nabanggit natin kanina na nandun pa lang kayo sa, kava-violate lang ng status nyo at wala pa kayong 6 months or wala pa kayong 1 year na nag-violate ng status, you are not subject to the 3 or 10 year bar, di ba? So, let's say nag-violate ka na ng status for 6 months to less than 1 year at doon ka nagsik ng voluntary departure, 3 years lang ang ban mo, right? So, yun ang advantage. Instead of you seeking for a removal, or instead of you fighting your case and eventually have that removal order, di ba? Kasi mahirap makabalik, you need to have stay there for 10 years bago po kayo makabalik. Although there may be some other form of relief na makabalik dito through a form of waiver, pero yung mga sitwasyon na ganyan, either meron kang qualifying relative to file a petition for you, or meron kang either a child, a son or a daughter over 21, a US citizen, or parent or US citizen spouse. So hindi madali makabalik kung magkakaroon po kayo ng order of removal. So that's one of the one advantages of seeking voluntary departure, so that you don't have a record, di ba, for violating or having an order of removal.
Oh, how about, attorney, if you say, for example, you're here, you've been ordered removed, and you have a crime, you're in jail, for example, no? And then nag-file ka nitong voluntary departure. Are you able to leave jail early and then just go home to the Philippines, for example?
Yes, that's if you're eligible. Like wag lang dun sa mga serious and aggravated felonies that we mentioned kanina, where you're not, where you are not qualified for voluntary departure, right? So yes, you can request that either at your own expense, or wait until the government will book you a ticket. So that's one of the advantages pala ng voluntary departure, Kuya Johan, then, right? So let's say you are in proceedings and you ask the judge, I would like to seek voluntary departure. The judge will allow you at least 4 months, right, to prepare everything.
Wow.
Yeah, the maximum 4 months for you to either sell your properties, kung siyempre yung may bahay ka, mayroon ka mga investment, mayroon ka mga sasakyan, etc., and mayroon kang trabaho, right? And also for you to purchase a ticket. So that's enough time. So once you have that ticket, right, you have to provide that to the government attorney to show that you already are voluntarily departing. So yun yung binibigay sa inyo na another 4 months to prepare for the voluntary departure.
Ayun, okay. And obviously, again, medyo complex itong usapin ito, mga kababayan. If they wanted to contact Reeves Immigration Law Group attorney, let's give them at this point, before we go on a break, yung how they contact you, attorney.
Yes, ang Reeves Immigration Law Group po ay may mga offices po kami. Where I'm based currently is in San Francisco and Walnut Creek, California, and you can see our website at 415-568-3777. We also have an office in Los Angeles area and Makati, Philippines. We have 3 to 4 staff in Makati assisting clients scheduling their appointments and medical and visa interviews, also gathering documentations from civil authorities. We have the capacity to help people na nasa ibang bansa, lalong-lalo sa atin sa Pilipinas. You can always call us and set a phone or Zoom consultation. We are now accepting in-person consultation, Kuya Johan, sa lahat ng opisina namin, right? For you to speak to an immigration specialist tungkol sa inyong immigration issues.
All right, that's amazing. And guys, we've been doing this for 5 years already, immigration law on your side. And not only do we give you paglilinaw, mga kabigan, sa iba't ibang issues, lahat na yan, yung alphabet soup ng immigration at kung ano-ano pa, katulad ng pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. If you just joined us, we're talking about voluntary departure. Aside from all those, we also give you updates. Mga kaibigan, we're gonna head over to a break, but before we do that, attorney, baka meron pa kayong ibang takeaway pathways regarding voluntary departure?
Yes, hindi po madali ang voluntary departure. Now, whether you want to go home. Now in a situation where people overstay nga pala, no, let's say they've been here working 10 years, 20 years. And I received many consultations, attorney, uwi ako, anong gagawin ko, right? In that situation, mga kababayan, you are not in removal proceedings, right? You can just leave, right, without contacting immigration, right? It's tanong usually mga kababayan, ano bang yayari sa akin pag nasa airport? Baka bigla akong damputin. I usually tell them ang purpose ng immigration custom enforcement pag kayo hinuhuli ay para pauwiin, right? So bakit I waste
ka na.
exactly waste my resources, right, to arrest you and put you in immigration hold, etc., right, para lang i-deport kita o ilagay ka sa immigration
When you're
hold.
already at the airport leaving.
Correct. So what you just need, mga kababayan, is of course yung inyong valid passport, Philippine passport to leave. Right? As long as wala po kayong criminal records, kasi baka naman yun ang dahilan. But if you don't have any criminal records and the only violations you have was overstaying, right? You're free to go. You're free to go home. But of course, remember, meron po kayong ban for 10 years. So before you leave, tingnan muna natin, explore natin yung options po ninyo for the last time, di ba? To consult with us. Who knows, may mga nagtatagong mga possible relief sa inyo, right? At bago kami man lang umuwi at mapag-usapan, masubukan, baka naman, malegalize yung status ninyo dito at be able to get your benefits kung ano man meron kayo, lalong-lalo ang social security benefits. And take note, kung kayo po ay nagbabayad ng social security benefits, with a valid social security number or even TIN number, you're able to get your benefits kung malilegalize ang status ninyo.
Ayun, kaya maganda mga kaibigan, before, say for example, you've been here, nag-overstay ka and everything, and before you leave, kumonsulta sa ating mga kaibigan sa Reeves Immigration Law Group. You see the phone number right there, that's the San Francisco number, 415-568-3777. And I told you that we always give you updates in immigration. In fact, here at Immigration Law on Your Side, may mga breaking news kami dito, may mga bagong developments. In fact, just last September 13th, there was a decision, mga kaibigan, na dapat malaman nyo tungkol sa DACA ito. Sa pagbabalik po ng Immigration Law on Your Side, pag-uusapan po natin kung ano itong update na ito mula po sa immigration right here on Immigration Law on Your Side. Diyan lamang po kayo, magbabalik po kami ni Atty. Diza.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
All right, and bukas na rin po mga kaibigan ng kanilang Walnut Creek, California office. So kumontak lamang sa kanila. And again, their website www.rreeves.com or reevesimmigration.com para sa iba pang mga detalye. Balikan natin si Atty. Diza. He is right here with me at the studio ng PHLV Radio sa Las Vegas. And may mga updates na dala si Atty. Diza, especially with regards to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, itong DACA. Attorney, mabigyan natin ng update sa ating mga tagapakinig.
Yes, ang Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, otherwise known as DACA, was declared unconstitutional ng isang Southern District of Texas judge, the same judge who initially denied, or declared unconstitutional during Obama's time, the same thing. So, anong ibig sabihin noon? Yung mga eligible ngayon, yung mga first timers na mag-a-apply, right? They are not going to approve the applications, right? So let's say, kasi may mga requirements yan, Kuya Johan, di ba? Yung DACA na yan was initiated and issued during President Obama's time, where people at young age who came to the US before 2007, right, and they continues to reside until 2012 when this policy was implemented, right, and they went to high school, no serious criminal records, right, they are able to request for deferred action, meaning they are not being prioritized to be removed, right? Hindi sila, ma-prepare sa mag-voluntary departure, but instead they're given not only deferred action but also work authorization for 2 years, right? Now, liwanagin natin sa mga kababayan natin na ang decision na to ay sa mga initial filing. So in other words, yung mga existing DACA na more than 600,000 to 1 million applicants na nag-file initial filing in 2012 until it was declared unconstitutional, and then it was reinstated and then declared unconstitutional again. So hindi sila naapektuhan. So ulitin natin, yung mga nakapag-file na ng DACA for several years, right, nakakuha ng work permit at pa-expire ang inyong DACA, pwede pa kayong mag-extend. Now you're able to get the extension and you're able to get the 2-year work permit. What they are prohibiting was yung mga initial, let's say, katiturn mo lang yung age na requirement ng DACA, di ba? For example, or natatakot ka, and believe me, Kuya Johan, I have seen many clients where they were afraid, especially during the last administration, to like file a DACA because sabi nila, baka, I'm putting myself sa system ng government at, pag nawala itong DACA, baka ako unang puntahan. That might be true, but if you are, kung wala ka namang criminal records, I don't think you'll be prioritized out of the millions of undocumented and overstay, right? So, marami pa rin hindi nagfa-file. Kaya, yung mga yon o yung mga naka-reach ng certain age, hindi pwede mag-file until again it reached the Supreme Court, di ba? Ilang beses nang dumaan sa mga district courts and then Supreme Court, then may panibago na namang policy regarding this, and then makakarating na naman Supreme Court. So until then, right, pwede pang mag-extend yung mga DACA na nakapag-file na, but yung mga first-timers at mga first time na nag-iisip pang mag-file will wait for the resolution of this DACA na dedesisyonan po ng US Supreme Court.
All right. Okay. So, mga kaibigan, manatiling nakatutok sa immigration law on your side because for how many years na, nagbibigay tayo ng mga updates na ganito. Kung meron po kayong ibang mga kailangan malaman regarding immigration that we've not taken up on this program, mayroon lamang po, magpadala po kayo ng email sa amin dito sa PHLV Radio o kaya sa Immigration Law on Your Side sa kanila po, sa ating mga kaibigan sa Reeves Immigration Law Group para po ma-discuss natin dito sa Immigration Law on Your Side. And kung meron pa kayong mga tanong regarding our topic today, mangyari lamang i-comment dyan sa baba ng ating feed on Facebook or on YouTube para po naman masagot ni Attorney Diza. Attorney, maraming salamat for the updates and paglilinaw regarding voluntary departure. I'm sure marami tayong mga kababayan na nabigyan na naman ng linaw ang kanilang mga tanong. Attorney, I'll give you this time to address our audience. Baka meron po kayo mga ibang announcements.
Well, additional update lang sa mga kababayan natin. Lumabas na po yung October 2023 visa bulletin. We were hoping and expecting na babalik lahat yung mga nag-retrogress, but apparently hindi gaanong nag-move, right? So, i-remind lang natin mga kababayan natin ng F2A, meaning kung kayo green card holder at pinapetition ninyo ang inyong spouse or minor children, medyo may retrogression, 2021 yata ang pinaprocess. So, there's a waiting time of almost 3 years. So, ang advice natin sa mga kababayan, number 1, if you have not filed your petition, file now. Number 2, mag-citizen po kayo kung kayo po eligible. Kasi kung kayo US citizen at pinitisyon nyo ang inyong asawa or minor children, they are considered immediate relative at immediately available ang visa at wala pong waiting time when it comes to the priority date. Pangalawa, ang employment-based na pinag-uusapan natin, Kuya Johan, we've discussed about PERM and EB3s, right, and EB2s, etc. May retrogression din, right? Yung mga EB3, if you look at it, that used to be current, right, ng EB3 and even other workers, yung mga caregivers, right? But now, nag-retrogress din. So, of course, ang palagi nilang advice is, you need to move forward and you can only move forward if you have to do something by filing those applications. So, yun ang pangalawang updates po natin. And of course, Kuya Johan, marami pa tayong updates as we go along. They can always visit our website, as you mentioned kanina, ang ating Facebook page, ang Reeves Immigration Law Group, and my personal immigration immigration updates, FJ Diza, U.S. immigration lawyer. You can check those one and like and follow our Facebook page. Of course, ang PHLV Radio nandyan din para makita ninyo lahat ang ating mga discussions on immigration law on your side. On Sunday, 4 o'clock, ang Integrated Bar of the Philippines California chapter will have their induction party and also taking of new officers. I'm proud to be a member of this group. Ito yung mga lawyers, no, ng mga nasa US, part ng Integrated Bar, right? That's the only chapter outside the Philippines na nire-recognize ng IBP. So we do render immigration service po, mga kababayan, not all immigration service, Philippine legal consultations, any Philippine legal issues sa Philippine Consulate General, San Francisco, California, every first Friday of the month. Mayroon kaming 10 o'clock until 12 and then mayroong 1 to 3 o'clock. Yun lang po, at maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig at panonood sa amin dito sa Immigration Law on Your Side, and keep watching, share, and listening and sharing our Immigration Law on Your Side at lahat ng programa ng PHLV Radio. Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Diza, and as always, it's a pleasure having you here at PHLV Radio sa studio dito po sa Las Vegas, Nevada. And siguro sa susunod, kami naman ang bibisita sa iyo dyan sa San Francisco at mag-live tayo galing dun sa office mo.
Anytime, Kuya Johan. Just let me know para ma-schedule natin.
Ayun, no. Para naman may panibago silang makikita nila ang offices ng Reeves Immigration Law Group at may kasama pang konting tour ng San Francisco, California at sasakay tayo dun sa mga cable cars. Ayun, dumadaan yata sa harap nyo, no, Attorney?
Yes, dumadaan sa harapan.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay, guys, maraming salamat. Mangyari lamang pong i-share at balikan ang ating mga episodes dito sa PHLV Radio sa ating Immigration Law on Your Side. Hatid po sa inyo ng ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. Until next time, this is Kuya Yo from Las Vegas. Maraming salamat po.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.